I thought my wife was just friendly with our son's coach. Until she got pregnant. It's probably yours, she said, but the DNA test said otherwise. Turns out, the baby isn't mine. Or the coach's. She cheated with 3 men, lied to my face, and still called me the villain. So yeah, I never thought I'd be that guy writing one of these posts. You know, the "my wife cheated on me" stories you scroll past thinking couldn't be me. Well, here I am. Married 11 years. 2 kids, boy 8, girl 5. Life's not perfect, but it's solid. Mortgage halfway done. I've got a stable job in IT. She works part-time at a dental office. We do okay. Nothing fancy, but we're comfortable. Everything blew up over a soccer practice. Swear to God. It was a Thursday. I remember 'cause it was my day off. I'd swapped shifts to cover for a coworker. My son had soccer after school, so I offered to take him and let my wife chill at home for once. She looked a little weird about it, like surprised. Asked if I was sure. Didn't think much of it at the time. Anyway, I take my son to the field. He's hyped. Loves his coach, Coach Wayne. Mid-30s, good with kids, funny guy. Everyone at the field seems to like him. Never had a reason not to. We get there a bit early, and as we're walking up, I see her. My wife. Already there. She's standing off to the side with Coach Wayne, laughing at something. I'm talking full on, eyes closed laughing. The kind of laugh you do when you're really into someone. I stop walking for a second. Not suspicious, just confused. I texted her earlier, and she said she was going to stay home and do laundry. So why's she here? I walk up. She sees me, and her face drops for a split second. Not much, just a flicker. Then she smiles and waves. Coach Wayne gives me a tight nod. Doesn't say much. Kinda awkward. I ask her, "Didn't expect to see you here?" She goes, "Oh, I felt bad you were going alone, so I thought I'd just surprise you both." Okay. Sure. I let it go. No big deal. I try not to be that jealous or paranoid guy, but it stuck in my head. You know that little itch in your brain that you can't scratch? The next hour, she's standing there the whole time, chatting with Coach Wayne. Not watching our kid. Not with the other parents. Just him. Just them. I joke with her on the ride home. Like, you and Coach Wayne looked like you were solving the world's problems back there. She laughs too loud. Says, "Don't be weird." I drop it. But I'm not gonna lie. I didn't sleep right that night. So after that soccer practice, things just felt off. I tried to brush it off. I mean, I'm not some jealous control freak, you know? I've always believed in giving space, not snooping, not being that dude checking his wife's phone like a psycho. But sometimes your gut just knows. And mine wouldn't shut up. A couple days later, I was on the couch watching TV, and her phone buzzed next to me. She was in the shower. I glanced at it. Just instinct. Message pops up from Linda PDA. The message says, "Last weekend was amazing, can't stop thinking about it." My blood froze. Linda PDA? First off, there's no Linda in the PDA. I would know. I've been to those meetings. Second, last weekend? She was visiting her sister last weekend. Took our daughter with her. I was home with our son. I don't touch the phone. I just stare at it like it's a bomb. When she comes out, she picks it up quick, doesn't even check the message, just flips it over face down. At that point, my brain's spiraling. I don't sleep. I don't say anything. Just start paying attention. I notice she always keeps her phone on silent now. No notifications on the lock screen. Takes it with her to the bathroom. Little things. Death by 1,000 red flags. So I do what I swore I'd never do. I dig. She has an iPad she barely uses, mostly for Netflix. But it's still signed in with her iCloud. I open it up while she's out shopping. Go into her photo backup. And man, there's a hidden album. Tucked in under utilities. I didn't even know that feature existed. It was full of photos. Selfies. Hotel mirror pics. A picture of her and Coach Wayne in bed, half under the covers. Same weekend she was visiting her sister. I swear my heart stopped. I just sat there holding the iPad, feeling like the floor disappeared under me. She had it all planned out. Used our daughter as an excuse. Told her mom they were visiting a friend. Drove 2 hours away and stayed in a hotel with this dude. Coach freaking Wayne. My son's hero. The guy who gives out orange slices and tells the kids to believe in themselves. I took screenshots. Emailed them to myself. Every last one. And the worst part? There was a video. I didn't watch it. Couldn't. I deleted it. I still don't know what was on it, and honestly, I don't want to. That night, I couldn't even look at her. She kept asking me if I was okay, said I was distant. I told her I was tired. I wasn't tired. I was drowning. I held on to those screenshots for about 3 days. 3 days of pretending everything was fine. 3 days of fake smiles and going through the motions like a robot. And it was killing me. I'd look at my son and think, this poor kid looks up to that guy. I'd look at my daughter and think, she was used as a cover story for a damn affair. And I'd look at my wife and wonder, who the hell even are you? I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping. I was barely functioning at work. I'd stare at the clock, waiting to go home just so I could keep pretending some more. But on the third night, I snapped. Couldn't take it. We'd just finished dinner. Kids were watching a movie in the living room. I was washing dishes, and she came up behind me, kissed my neck, and said, "Thanks for being such a good husband." I don't even know what hit me. I spun around and said, "How long have you been sleeping with Wayne?" Her whole body locked up. Dead silence. She stuttered. What? I didn't raise my voice. I didn't scream. I just looked her in the eye and said it again, slowly. "How long have you been ing our son's soccer coach?" Her face went pale like she saw a ghost. She tried to deny it. I told her I had screenshots. Photos. The hotel dates. Everything. Told her not to lie again, or I was walking out the door that minute and never coming back. She sat down at the kitchen table and just started crying. Like, full-on meltdown mode. And I stood there, arms crossed, waiting. I didn't feel bad. I was done feeling bad. Eventually, she admitted it. She said it just happened. Said it started innocent, just chatting at practices, talking about life and marriage and how hard it is with kids. Then came some texting, then flirting, then bam, they were in a hotel. And once that line was crossed, they just kept crossing it. Over and over. It wasn't a one-time mistake. It was an affair. Full-blown, planned, sneaky, calculated. She said it made her feel alive again. I said, "Good. Hope you felt alive when I was making dinner and putting our kids to bed." She kept crying, apologizing, saying she didn't want to lose our family, that she still loves me, that she was confused, that it wasn't serious. And then, right when I was about to tell her to pack a bag, she says, "I need to tell you something else." I swear to God, my soul left my body. She takes a breath, says, "I'm late." I said, "Late for what?" She said, "My period. I'm late. I think I might be pregnant." And just like that, the air was sucked out of the room. I didn't even have words. My mouth literally stopped working. I just stared at her, trying to process what I was hearing. She started rambling, saying it could be mine, that we had been together a few times during that window, that she wasn't sure, that she hadn't told Wayne yet, that she didn't want it to be his, that she didn't even want this to happen. And I just laughed. Not like a funny laugh. Like that hollow, tired, broken laugh you do when you realize you're in the middle of a nightmare and there's no waking up. I said, "You really expect me to help raise the baby you made with our son's coach? You seriously think I'm just going to deal with this?" She got defensive, said, "I didn't plan this. It's not like I wanted to get pregnant." And I said, "Yeah, well, I didn't plan on getting married to a liar either." She tried to grab my hand. I pulled away, told her to get out. She begged me not to do this in front of the kids. I said I wasn't. I'd sleep on the couch. She could stay in the guest room. But come morning, she needed to be gone. She left the next day, took a suitcase, and went to stay with her sister. And me? I sat down with the lights off and cried like I hadn't cried in years. Not for her. For me. For my kids. For what I thought my life was. I kept thinking, how do you come back from this? Short answer? You don't. But you can go forward. After she left to stay with her sister, which, by the way, I later found out was another lie. More on that in a sec. I had a few quiet days to think. And I don't mean cry and sulk kind of thinking. I mean, how do I burn this down without turning my kids into collateral damage? Because that was my only line. I didn't want them hurt. But her? And Wayne. Fair game. First thing I did was back everything up. Screenshots, photos, timestamps. Even the calendar app where she had soccer meetups tagged on days she wasn't even at the field. I turned into a damn detective. Sherlock Holmes powered by caffeine and betrayal. Next step. Find out who Coach Wayne was outside the whistle and cleats. Took about 10 minutes of Facebook digging. Boom. Married. 2 kids. One of them even goes to the same school as ours. His wife, let's call her Rachel, had one of those family lifestyle profiles. Pumpkin patch pictures. Love my boys captions. Posts about self-care Sundays and mama wine nights. You know the type. Harmless. Sweet. The last person who deserved this garbage. So I did what any broken, betrayed, vengeful man with receipts would do. I messaged her. Kept it short. Hi, Rachel. This is probably going to be the worst message you'll ever get from a stranger. But I think our spouses are having an affair. I have proof, and I'm not saying this to be dramatic. I just thought you deserved to know. She read it in like 15 seconds. Then, who is your wife? I gave her my wife's name. Sent her the photos. The texts. Even the one of them in bed with the timestamp and location tagged. She didn't reply for 10 minutes. Then came 3 words. I knew it. Turns out, she had suspicions too. He was working late more often, hiding his phone, saying weird stuff like, "You don't understand me anymore." Classic cheater starter pack. She thanked me, said she was going to handle it her way. And oh boy, she did. 3 days later, my wife, well, soon-to-be ex, came back to the house to pick up some stuff. I barely looked at her, just pointed to the hallway and said, "Your things are in the guest room." She looked pale, like she hadn't slept. Then she dropped this gem. "Did you send anything to Wayne's wife?" I just stared at her. Didn't answer. She said, "Because he told me she knows." She kicked him out. He's sleeping in his truck. He said you ruined his life. I laughed right in her face. Oh, I ruined his life? Not the affair? Not the secret love child you two were planning to co-parent while I played house and paid bills? Nah, sweetheart. I just held up the mirror. She started crying again. She kept doing that, crying like she was the victim. Said I was being cruel, that she never wanted to hurt anyone. I asked, "So what was your plan? Have the baby and just see who it looked like more?" She said she didn't know. She was confused. She felt trapped. I told her, "You're not confused. You're just mad you got caught." Then, and this part one almost didn't believe, she admitted she wasn't staying with her sister. She had been at a hotel. Not with Wayne, just by herself. But guess who was paying for the hotel? Our joint account. Yeah, she was cheating on me, possibly pregnant by another man, and using my money to get room service while I was home with our kids. So I froze the accounts. Filed for divorce the next day. Cited adultery. Called a lawyer. In the middle of all this, Rachel, Wayne's wife, posted a Facebook update. A long one. No names, but she laid it all out. Cheating. Lies. Kids involved. Said she was filing too. Said she'd been made a fool of by someone who promised to love her forever. Half the damn town saw it. Even some parents from the soccer league. Guess what happened next? Wayne got dropped from coaching. Some board member found out. Said it was inappropriate conduct. He was done. Just like that. Poof. No more Coach Wayne. So now there we were. 2 broken families. For confused kids. A pending divorce. And a maybe baby growing inside the woman I used to call my best friend. And this wasn't even rock bottom yet. So the weeks dragged on. We were officially separated now. She was staying at her mom's, or so she said, and I was full-time dad mode. Doing lunches, school drop-offs, cleaning, trying to hold it all together with duct tape and rage. I'd filed for divorce. I'd frozen the accounts. I told my family. Even told my son's school counselor, just to make sure someone had an eye on him, because I didn't want him carrying this mess on his little shoulders. My soon-to-be ex? Still texting me. Still crying. Still so sorry. Still pregnant. Yeah, the baby thing. Very much real. She went to the OB, confirmed she was around 8 weeks. Right in the window of chaos. So I said, "Cool. We're getting a paternity test. As soon as it's safe." She hesitated. Of course she did. Started throwing out guilt lines like, "Do you really think I would lie about something this serious? It's probably yours, you know." We were still sleeping together then. I said, "We were also still married. But that didn't stop you from sneaking around with Coach soccer shorts." That shut her up. So we wait. Weeks go by. She's still living in exile. Still texting me like we might reconcile one day. Like she's going to have this baby and maybe, just maybe, we could raise it together. I'm polite, but cold. Never give her hope. Because I already knew. If that baby was Wayne's, it was game over. Then came the day we'd been waiting for. We go to the clinic. She looks nervous. I look like a man who ran out of S to give a long time ago. They take her blood. Take my swab. They'll match fetal DNA from her blood with mine. It takes about a week to get results. Longest week ever. I finally get the call. Nurse says, "You're not the father." Just like that. Calm. Cold. Straight out of Maury Povich. I take a deep breath. Then I ask the next obvious question. Do you have the comparison for the alleged father? I mean, the guy she thought it might be? Nurse says, actually no. The other alleged father didn't submit a sample. I say, it was supposed to be Wayne, last name. She checks, says there's no one by that name on the case. That's when my stomach drops, because I know damn well Wayne was supposed to get tested. So I call her, ask, why didn't Wayne do the test? And she says, I kid you not. Because I never told him he might be the father. I didn't want to ruin his life. Ruin his life. I'm sitting there, divorced, wrecked, barely holding my kids together, while she's out here protecting Coach Homewrecker like he's some innocent baby deer. But that's not even the big twist. I ask her, okay, so if it's not mine, and it's not Wayne's, then who? And she says, I think it might be someone else. I go silent. She goes quiet too, then whispers, I made a mistake. Around that time, I hooked up with a guy from my gym once. Just once. I didn't think it would matter. I swear I didn't think I could get pregnant. A guy. From the gym. So let's recap. She cheated on me. With our son's soccer coach. Got pregnant. Told me it was maybe mine, probably Wayne's. And surprise. It's neither. It's some protein shake chugging, compression pants wearing dude from LA Fitness. My brain short-circuited. I didn't even scream. I just hung up. And I haven't spoken to her since, other than through lawyers. She had the baby a few months later. Healthy girl. Not my problem. She tried to get Wayne to talk again, but apparently he ghosted her once his wife divorced him. Rumor is he moved 2 states away and started coaching Pee-wee football like none of this happened. Gym guy? No clue. She wouldn't even say his name. Probably doesn't know it. Classy. I updated my custody agreement. Full custody, supervised visits only. She shows up once or twice a month now. Acts like everything's fine. My kids don't ask about the baby much. They're young. They don't fully understand. But someday, they will. And I'll tell them the truth, in the calmest, most honest way I can. Because I'm done lying for her. It's been almost exactly 1 year since the day everything came crashing down. 1 year since I found out my wife, the person I trusted most in this world, had not only been cheating on me with our son's soccer coach, but also ended up pregnant by some random guy from her gym. 1 year since I sat on our couch, in a dark living room, holding my face in my hands, wondering how the hell I was supposed to rebuild a life that had been nuked from the inside out. And yet, here I am, still standing. Not perfect, not invincible, but peaceful. And man, that's something I never thought I'd feel again. After everything blew up, I knew I couldn't stay in that house. Too many memories. Too much silence. Every room felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by echoes of things that used to feel real. So I sold it, took the kids, and moved into a smaller house a few neighborhoods over. It's nothing fancy, smaller kitchen, backyard's a bit cramped, but it's ours. I painted the walls with my kids. Let them pick their room colors. We put up posters, built furniture from IKEA, badly, and started fresh. It was clunky at first. There were nights I cried after they went to bed. Mornings where I sat on the edge of the couch and just stared at the floor. But little by little, the quiet started feeling safe again. The kids, they're doing okay. Better than I expected, honestly. My son still doesn't fully understand what happened, and I didn't tell him the whole thing. Just that mommy made some choices that weren't okay, and that we're all safer and happier living separately now. He had a hard time letting go of Coach Wayne. Kept asking if he'd still be at soccer practice. That one stung. But he's got a new coach now. A woman this time. Shout out to Coach Marlene, actual legend. And he's starting to love the game again. My daughter? She's young enough that most of it went over her head. She just wanted to know if I'd still make her pancakes on Saturdays. I promised I would. And I have. Every single weekend. My ex. We finalized the divorce 6 months ago. She didn't fight it. Probably knew she didn't have a leg to stand on after everything. Especially once the DNA test came back and confirmed the baby wasn't mine or Wayne's. She ended up having a daughter. Healthy, as far as I know. I've seen her once. She brought the baby to a supervised visit with our kids. It was surreal. I looked at that baby and didn't feel hate. I didn't feel much at all. Just sad. For the kid. For how messed up her start to life already is. And for the woman holding her, who still doesn't seem to grasp the wreckage she caused. She tried to talk to me a few times. Apologized again. Asked if there was any chance we could rebuild someday. I told her, there's nothing left to rebuild. You didn't knock over the house. You lit it on fire and watched it burn. She cried again. She always cries. What about me? I'm better. I know that sounds simple, but it's the truth. I'm better. I still get flashbacks. Still have moments where I get quiet out of nowhere and stare into space, thinking about that hotel photo or the first text or her face when I said the word divorce out loud. But they don't own me anymore. I'm working out again, eating better, sleeping like a human. I joined a single dads group, which I never thought I'd do, but honestly, it helps. Just having people who get it. And yeah, I met someone. It's early. Really early. She's divorced too. Totally different story, nothing dramatic. We go slow. No pressure. Just long walks, deep talks, and laughter I didn't know I still had in me. She knows everything. I laid it all out. And instead of flinching, she just said, "You've got a hell of a story. But I don't see damage. I see strength." The lesson. If you're reading this and going through something similar, let me say this. You will not die from heartbreak. It will feel like it. It'll feel like you're drowning in a storm you never asked for. But one day, you'll open your eyes, and it'll be quiet. And instead of pain, you'll feel space. Space to rebuild. Space to breathe. Space to finally put yourself first. I didn't just survive being cheated on, lied to, humiliated, and discarded. I outgrew it. I've got 2 amazing kids, a fresh start, a clear conscience, and peace in my bones. As for her, she made her bed, and I stopped losing sleep over it.